Okay, great. There we go.
GMB Pros, welcome everyone. Welcome those that are catching us on Facebook Live. Welcome those that are on the replay. I appreciate everyone's support. And I am thankful and grateful for you guys. Back on GMB Pros, guys, just to remind you, mine and William's goal is twofold, right? One is to help you grow your agency, and two is to help get better results for your clients. And we do that by having guests on our show. That way they can give us some over the shoulder examples on how we can accomplish this and to help us. And today, as our guest, we have David, the owner of Zion Port Agency, and we're going to be talking about driving directions and maps and how that's improving our rankings for our customers and what he is doing. Uh, David is in Wisconsin, here in the beautiful US of A, and they've been on the news a lot lately here recently. So, David, thank you for hopping on here with me. How are you, man?
Pretty good. I'm excited to do this thing.
Awesome, awesome. Let's see here. Now, David, if you can kind of give me an introduction on yourself, like where you've been, how you kind of got started, where you're at now, and kind of where you're headed in the future for those of us that don't know you.
Yeah, certainly. So I started this program or this my journey started way back in 2012. And then over time, I more and more graduated into or gradually gotten into uh, uh, more or less entity stacking or drive stacking with Google. And then because it was a safer way of building backlinks and I could still do what I do without having to harm clients, but at the same time, I also wanted to control the juice. Okay. So, um, and then that progressed to where we are now because now one of the biggest things, like I feel like I mastered the organic rankings. That's the problem. That's not a problem anymore. And so GMB has become the the thing they have, especially in the local markets, because people really want that position. They want that those eyeballs. They want the traffic, and they know GMB does it right. And it's like
Mhm.
one of the best ways to like showcase to your client that you're the business, because once you're able to show them that you're putting their name out there more times than not, and they're getting the calls because of it, it's a different story now, right? It's a lot easier for you then to compete in a noisy environment with the GMBs backing them up.
Yeah, 100%. Now, how did you like come across this, or what did you see, or what made you try this?
With the Google with the maps and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a thought, and so basically, I was wondering if coordinates plus kind of I come out from a formula standpoint where it's uh, coordinates plus business name plus website data, right? Whatever. And so I said, well, if the only thing that had to change out of all of that would be the coordinates data and just put it somewhere else, would that data, would the rest of the data go with it? And will Google start to say, okay, this content and this content, which is essentially duplicate, are the same business. The only thing that's different is the coordinate, right? So your 1, 2, 3 coordinates, which is going to put you over here, and your 4, 5, 6 coordinates, which is going to put you over here. And Google analyzes this and they say, hey, look, we'll will Google say, okay, this guy at 456 and this guy at 123 is the same guy? Therefore, it seems logical that they serve these two areas. Therefore, anybody in these areas has to get results from this business because I know who they are.
Now, can you kind of give us an example? Like, I know you're saying it out loud, but what does that kind of look like? And what is that? Like, can you draw a picture? Can you show us?
Yeah, let's see. You're gonna wanna let's see if I could find a good project for us.
That way, the people that are catching the replay
Right.
or on Facebook, they can kind of get a visual on what you're talking about.
Okay. So I'm going to now I oh do I share my screen as well? I should,
Yeah,
huh?
you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Figure it out. Do I go to more? Nope.
Now, if you go to share, and then another window's going to pop up, and then you pick what you want to share from there.
Okay. It says right here I got to return a meeting. Is that wrong?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not sure where you're at.
Oh, I
On
see it.
yours,
Gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. So one participant. Oh, let's see. I'm sorry.
So if you hit share, you can do your entire screen and then pick what you want to share, or it'll show you the app
Right.
windows that are open.
Come on. Give me the options, please. It's gonna make me pull my teeth out, isn't it? There we go. Finally. All right. Where was I? All right. Share. This should be the place.
There you go.
All right. So I was gonna do this one, but I think I'll show some other place real quick. So let me get rid of this. Delete this layer. And it's going to be a totally different business right now. So let me go ahead and get a different file. I'm going to insert here. Okay, good. So this is for an air duct cleaning service. So we'll see. I can't remember where they're located. We'll find out in just a second. All right. So they're located in Miami or near Miami or North Miami. So as you can see, all of these driving directions. Well, before we get into that part, I want to go over the pins themselves as to what the values inside of those pins are, right? So if we look at this one here, okay, this is a photo of a QR code, right? And this QR code actually links back to actually this data bit right here. But inside of here, essentially what I did was I scraped all of the known GMB data from uh, their property and made all of this from it, right? So, for an example, the description is okay. Acadia Park is the location, right?
Hmm.
Acadia Park is the location of where we're talking about, not necessarily the business at all, right? So Acadia Park is literally a place in uh, North Miami. I guess if you live there, you would know what I'm talking about, right? Like if I
Right.
as I'm zooming in,
I see it
clearly,
there.
right now you would say, well, why would I even put a thing here? Well, it's all really automatic, um, but let's just say, for an example, inside of this park, there's some sort of center, right? Like it has indoor. basketball court, whatever the case may be. I really don't know, but let's some parks have it, some don't. We'll just assume that this one might have a structure, right? So while we may think something else, where why would you go here, whatever, um, it's enough for Google to say, okay, there seems to be a air duct cleaning service near Arcadia Park,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have, right, if you can see this, right next to Arcadia Park is the elementary school. So if this elementary school is like, yeah, we got a lot of dust in our vents, we better go call somebody. Well, now we have some resources for Google to rely upon. Hey, there was somebody who was right across the street that seems to do a pretty good job, right? So here's all the data that Google has on that particular business. Well, the website is this, right? I can click on it, I suppose, and there you are, right? Oh, hold on a minute. There you go. But so that takes it to the main website. This right here is the business's knowledge graph, right? You know what? You see why that's important.
Yeah.
This gives them a chance to actually take over, right? Then and then you got to suggest edit link. You know, all the links that you tend to have edit GMB is part of it. From the suggest and edit to asking a question link to the list of questions to posts. So, for an example, if one of the things I say is, look, if you had a lot of posts on your GMB, the more, right? The more better that would be. So if you clicked on that, it should show up if they had one, right? You know, you get the pop up.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem to be the case here, but it doesn't matter. Then you got the products, right? Latitude, longitude coordinates here, right? More of that. The map URL, which is the original uh, map URL of itself, you know, the one that you would use to give people or what would show up in your browser.
Right.
Then you would have also more map data there. Then you got the CID. Everybody knows this. Your what is it? Your company ID, not company ID, but it is your coordinate ID. Then directions from location, and then directions to the location. So what this means is this is from location means from Arcadia Park back to my business, which is the greenhouse button way down south. Yeah, zoom out to see it. Back to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm showing you how to get from here back to the main business, and then from the main business back to Arcadia Park, should we ever want to, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
One of the things I've learned is that sometimes, especially as a SAB, you don't want directions going just to your main business, especially if you're SAB, because you're SAB. You're to go to them, right? You're not supposed to be getting people to your. If you're a dentist, that's what you want. You want people to arrive at your store. But if you're like this guy, he's a vet cleaner. I'm supposed to be going to the destination. So it's another way of getting Google's attention. But I still do both directions anyways. It doesn't matter. You got the street. You know, if you ever go to maps.google.com and you have various street views, you got various views of your map. You got the panorama, the satellite, traffic view, transit view, and all these other layers, right? This is a lot of data that goes back to Google, right? Really, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell Google that the uh, they're uh, they're the resource for this business. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
this is really massaging Google's ego to say, hey, look, not only is this business it, but you're the one validating it. And here are all here are all the links that point right back to you that proves it, right? And then you have the, well, this is also part of, uh, you know, I built a folder for it, in Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a spreadsheet that has all these links, which is all of these pins everywhere. And then you have the public for, all the types of links for, uh, for the types of links you could get from a spreadsheet kind of thing. So this link, the main link here really is this one right here, right? So Dustin's error, duct, whatever. So this is the guy, right? So all of this is to really inform Google that this guy here in this pin here are the same guy, right? The only thing, again, the only thing that's really different would be the latitude longitude coordinates, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's it's duplicate content, but what's offsetting the duplicate is the coordinate and the description itself, right? Does that make sense?
So does each one have a different description?
Yeah. So this one is Lake Stevens Park,
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
and then this one is North Gardens High School. Let's see what this one is. Junior Academy. Let's see. Even though like certain places, I have to allow myself to just suspend disbelief because sometimes there are locations where the main business is in the middle of a desert and there's hardly nothing around it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even going to get a gas station, let alone a park. And then it's very hard to generate all these pins because the idea here is you're actually using real live locations, and this is what I'm doing. I'm hijacking every location for the business sake. So essentially, what I want to do is where this is saying Carnival Cruise Line Science as part of it, right? But at the same time, this is attaching itself to the main business as being a duct cleaning service, right? I'm kind of telling Google that, hey, this Carnival Cruise Lines area is also home to this duct cleaning service that I've been telling you about for the past 12 months.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So they're the same, not necessarily the same, but they're one and the same.
Yeah.
They live together kind of thing.
Now, David, let me ask you. So you built these out.
Yes.
These are like pins, map pins with driving directions.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a certain limit or certain radius that you go out?
Okay, so this is really 5,000 kilometers or like 3.5 miles or something like that
Okay.
from this home. But then I could stretch this out a little bit, but then it makes the files a little too big, right? Now
Mhm.
I was asked this question yesterday. If let me think, like so somehow or another, like you live in like say a guy lives in Dallas and he's also has business in Austin,
Mhm.
and but his business is kind of in between, right? He says, yeah, but I want to hit this and I want to hit that way over there. I'm like, is that possible? Like, yeah, it's possible. Like, and I get driving directionally. I'm like, well, it will have to be a little it's a little bit different. I don't know about the driving directions because all of these driving directions themselves are data points. If I could just hit a line, let me just hit a line. Even the driving directions themselves are data points. So in order for you to get the driving directions, you see how these little white dots just showed up?
Yeah.
Those are actually little data points that's built in with your with your driving direction, right? even though it's taking me straight to Arcadia Park, these are actually extra little data points that's necessary, right? And it gets a little more meaty the further out you go. That doesn't mean that it's not going to work. Like if I was to take over, uh, if I was to take over all of Miami here, I know I would have a lot of it where it's just covering with pins, same
Mm-hmm.
data, but I wouldn't have driving directions going everywhere because it would just be too crazy.
Got it. Got it. So you're doing about 3 mile radius, and I mean, it's is there keywords in there? Is it just the
Yep.
business name in there?
Let me see about this one. What? Let me see.
I
So
see
one of
some
the
of the stuff you're putting on there, like as far as the URL. But with this, is it just telling Google the brand name, the business, 3 miles out, kind of
okay. So
high?
let me show you how this also works too. Let me pull up the Google site. I'm sorry, the sheet. This is the spreadsheet file. So this is going to give us the spreadsheet for um, kind of the data that's involved, right? Let me just close this out real quick. All right. So for example, this is a spreadsheet. Well, it's not, but it's the public version of it. So if you could see here, you need to give me. I didn't get many keywords to work with it. I usually do up to 20 of them.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But then, so if you can see here, this is also part of where it's at. So you see where it says AC vent cleaning. I'm going to click on that. And what that's going to do is point us right back to over there. Or I'm sorry, back to their main money site, uh, main G&B money site.
Mm-hmm.
Now, uh, now at the same time, this is also pointing to the same thing. And then this is pointing to a lot of the same. Uh, Here we are. I think this is where we want to be. Let me click on this. Let's see what this says. No, actually, this is the main. This is actually the main money site. I'm sorry, the main Google site, Google Sheet site. Then the point of interest, right? Which let me see. If this isn't linking to, this should be linking back to a lot of the data points, right? So this is where it's all coming from, right? Generating all these place interests. But really, wrapping the URL in these backlinks. Yeah, I'm getting lost. I'm on myself. Yeah, here we are. So wrapping the URL in these backlinks is where it's at, right? Or I'm sorry, yeah. In, by URL, I do mean GMB URL. So wrapping them in that in these keywords here, like, and one of the things I find better that works well, and this was after the fact for this guy, I should have told him better. Wrapping in a keyword with the brand
Mm-hmm.
goes a long way. In other words, it would have been a long format for sure, but still, it would have gave him more to it. So if I was to let's see if I could sneak my way into here, take this, copy, go here, and let's go here with it. This is going to be a long one. There we go. And then wrap that in there like so. This goes a lot further than before, right? So now we're taking the keyword, we're taking the the uh, the brand, and if I wanted to go further, add in really selling this. Oops, I did the wrong one. That also goes a long way into making that work. because all we're doing is just telling Google that we exist here, right?
Right.
And then we're really just trying to, how am I going to do this? Like, we're trying to leverage every bit of that juice from Google. Like, there's a lot of data in our GMBs that we don't really realize, and we're trying to pull that in so that they could get all of the necessary results possible. Again, here we are, like directions to and from, uh, street view, satellite view, uh, satellite traffic view, transit view. All these things. It seems like it's a dumb idea, but man, I'm telling you, Google likes all this stuff. And the fact that you're telling them, hey, you're the reason why organic seems to work is because we're telling Google that this guy is the result. This guy is the answer. But we're in this case, we're telling Google is the answer, which is what they like to hear. And now they're going to want to tell this guy, hey, whenever you're looking for an air vent cleaning service, I got the guy for you. You know, because who am I going to trust more? Me. And then where's all the results coming from? I'm trying to get this thing from popping up. Uh, Another property that belongs to me, right? And
That
then
makes
here's some more,
sense.
yeah, and then here's some more properties that also belong to me that's saying the same thing, right? So there's nothing here that has ever left Google's side where we're not saying that Google is not the answer yet, right? We're still about two or three uh, tiers into this before we actually go out and say, okay, now we'll power it up with some 120s or something. So that's a lot of data inside of these pins. Trying to make sure I don't put those. So it does help, obviously, to uh, have these pins in places where it would make sense, like schools, people that actually use it, not a park. So I try to make sure it stays logical that way. But for the fact that I just want to have more pins out there, I just don't even care.
Right. So we have like, okay, you go 3 miles. There's a lot of like Google URLs, it looks like. It has different like CID, the review, the products, URLs, the sheets URLs with those in there. Now, when you build this, do you drive traffic to it or do you just build it and let it sit there? How do you get Google to see this? And how do you get Google to kind of, let's say, trigger these things?
If I wanted to make this work, now I really can't half the time. And really, this is where I have to rely on the client. Look, here's a way you could do this. What you have now is a bunch of potential posts, right? Take each of one of these links and a really brilliant way of doing this. And if we're going to keep it in the Google house, I would write an article on GMB and then point back to one of these links. Just one, not all of them, just the one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we have, man, I got to go to this one. No, this one. I got to see how many we have. Okay, so we're on 58 right here. We got 58 rows. So I have a potential for, well, not 58, but you get the idea. 48. I have a potential for 48 new Google My Business posts. If you don't know, Google My Business will get crawled just as soon as it gets posted. Like you say, submit, Google's crawling it pretty quickly. So that's one way of doing it. So I would take this and link from Google My Business to one of these areas, to one of these links. Secondly, there's other Google properties I would use. Calendar. Um, that continues to get Google to crawl each and every one of these links, right?
Okay.
The more they continue to come, the more you get Google to come back, the more that they start to just understand, well, I got it already. I got it 5 days ago when you told me about this. When you pounded into me for the last 12 days before that. So at some point, they're just going to be like, I get it. And then more times than not, um, you will find out that not only will you see the rankings go up, but you're eventually going to get where one of these keywords is going to dominate, right? So like you can say, oh yeah, I went here, I went and did a search result for this, and I found out that they have the knowledge graph, right? Which means they're going to be the only one that shows up on that Google search result.
Got it.
And as and if you think that all you want is the map pack, then we're not thinking high enough. I would say.
What do you mean by that? Like where else besides the map pack and would they
No,
dominate?
just knowledge graph. You really
Okay.
want the knowledge graph because you're the only one there, right? How could you eliminate the choice, right? If you a knowledge graph, what that means is on mobile, it takes away two of the competitors. It takes away every competitor at that point because there's nobody else there. On mobile, you're the only one that gets the call button, right? So if you don't know this, like if you were to type this in like so inside your mobile device, this guy would show up with the only call button there. Like if I was to say, if we typed in, you see, we got choices.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we don't want that, do we? Because because they could either call my client or they could call somebody else in this list, right? Or you get somebody that's really shopping around. They'll be like, oh, let's see some more ideas, right? But if it was just this guy, or where we just had it right here, there's going to be no 3 pack. There's going to be no, hey, let's check out some more people. There's going to be only one. There's going to be only one row that belongs to you and or to your client, right? That's it's going to be very hard to say no when you're the only one, right? And so you get more keywords that do that, the better off you are. So I really like this for that reason. It's very powerful.
Awesome. Now, Dave, do you have some like before and after grids? Um, or this is I'm assuming that you've done the best practices, you optimize the GMB, you're active with it, you put some posts with it.
Yeah.
Do you have like this is just kind of like icing on the cake, right? This is kind of after you you've done all the what I call the best practices, um, and especially with all this coming out, right? You're constantly comparing your competitors, and you're constantly polishing your GMB, and then this is kind of a layer on top of it.
Right. So let me see if this works. Okay. So I really don't do these a lot because I'm still trying to find a better grid tracking system. I don't really do the grid tracking a lot. Sometimes what it is, I'll
I
exchange.
can show you all this after this. They have great mapping system.
Uh, Usually I would exchange like, hey, listen, if you're willing to give me track a keyword for me, then I'll just use the same keyword to uh, give you, the driving directions. And so usually it's a barter system. So here's an idea of uh, usually trackers they go about 5 miles, right? It's 5 miles from the normal business, if I'm not mistaken. And
Mm-hmm.
so, which is fine for this, because remember we're talking about uh 5,000 kilometers or like three some odd miles from home anyway, right? But so this is about uh again 5 miles, and then again 5 miles within that same keyword. Now, best practices. How do I get, again, this is really one keyword, but how did I get there? If basically I do what's called a a sniper branded keyword term. And basically all I do is let's see. So we have the brand, and then I would have the keyword, and then I would have the location. So in other words, there's going to be other um, layers that I could add here, right? So I could extend these set of layers uh, to add more driving directions and stuff. But anyways, let's see, where was I? Not to get you distracted. I'm getting distracted. So it'll be so I would say keyword 1A, keyword 1B, keyword 1C. Now what that would be like is uh, vent cleaning services, best vent cleaning services. I do this about 20 times, right? Get 20
Mm-hmm.
of these variations going. Top, top rated, top notch. I think of something else.
Near me.
Yeah, and then you could do that near me. You can repeat those nearby, uh, in, right? You get the idea. I don't have to go on. But I'm now matching 20 variations, but I haven't really left the main keyword, which is vent uh, cleaning services, right? But if I repeated this process to like vent cleaning contractors, I'll just make a whole set of driving directions the same again. But because it's just one keyword, maybe, I'm sorry, because there's several different keywords, what's happening is I'm able to also keep, like, this thing will be stuffed full of
Right.
10 different, sets of driving directions, because while this one was going to a bunch of parks and schools, I will have another one that's going to a bunch of, uh, let's say, a museum. Let's say, let's say the first one would go to a bunch of parks and elementary schools. Another one I would have, it'll go to a bunch of banks and um, some other place,
Right.
gas gas station. So now it gets crazy because now I can hit a lot of different locations at the same exact time, at least 10 different times. And if you're thinking about what I was just saying earlier, all I'm doing is everything stays the same except for the description here, or which is really the location data,
Mm-hmm.
or the pin name. The pin name is the where we're at, right? And the latitude, longitude of the pin data as well. Now we're still pinning this data there all throughout this particular pin. And then once I do this about 10 times, one per keyword, then we're going to have a bigger picture for Google to play off of,
Got it.
right? Because now, while this one, again, like I said, I usually pick two different locations per setup. Uh, Either, again, this one is parks and schools. The other one could be like even banks and elementary school, or something like that. But there's several locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so at the same time, and really, there's not much being said here, right? Except for the same thing all over again. Like I'm not writing anything about. Uh, I'm not writing anything about the location, but I'm telling Google that this location is every bit like a duct cleaning service I know,
Got it.
right? I don't know. It's like it's a reference material because if you think about how you try to explain something to somebody else, uh, if you think about places that are in your city, and you would say, okay, you know that gas station on the corner of so and so. That's where that Domino's is at, or that's where so and so is at. Even though vividly a person may not know exactly where you're referring to, but I do know about that gas station you're referencing, and I do understand. Okay, so the next time I'm in need of Domino's or whatever, I know where one is because I got it visually because somebody said, okay, uh, at the corner of street and street is this gas station, and next to it is that store, right?
Got it. Yep. Yeah.
So
So as
so this,
far go ahead.
no, that's it. Go ahead.
No, so we got it. Like this is like 3 mile radius, different data points from within Google, kind of referring back to the business and the business back to that particular location where Google reads it. You can include this on a map. Um, so as we start to close this off, Dave, where can people create this? Is this for like, does only like businesses with address? Can you kind of leverage this for service area businesses as well?
So this is yeah for both SABs and for uh, brick and mortar.
Businesses with address, right?
Yeah,
Brick and mortar, right? Correct.
and
Okay.
so typically this is and this isn't too self-advertised, but you could either do it yourself, and there's a software that I use called Staxio, and basically the way it looks like is this. I'll click on this local banner. You got to set it up. It takes a little bit to set up, so that you could use your Map API. So you gotta be okay and familiar with that. But after that, it's you know easy picking. So basically, all I'm doing is let's see, where do we go? Where do we go? We would have to go here. Yep, copy, and then we go here. So I'm taking their GMB link and pasting it here, right? So now I take their keywords, and like I said, I really want brand keyword 1A location, right?
Hmm.
Brand keyword 1B location. I'm going to want this 20 times, right? So that could be also, like we said before, if we were to do this one more time, in and near me, right? You do this
Right.
about 20 times. It's not that hard, right? But again, the value point is again the keyword because as long as that doesn't change, you're really zeroing in on it. Now I could create some driving directions, right? I select this. I don't have to really,
Hmm.
but I'm going to do it anyway. Um, and so basically, what it's going to do is I'll select, let's just say, an accounting service, and we'll go with, let's see, again, secondary school, right? Now, here's what I could do. I could include another place, not another place, but I could say, uh, if we see the map, if I could find it real quick, if we could see the map over here, and let's just assume like this is where they are, but I really want to start here at the country club because you were asking, could we go outside of that 3 mile bubble?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I would have to take the coordinate from here, copy, and put that here. And let me go back. I hope I'm getting it. The bar is right there in front of me. And then I'll put that here. And then I want to and from. I want all of, I'll do it all at first. And then if the file is more than 5 MB, I can't do it. Then I'll enable the My Map KML so I could upload it to here. And then I usually like randomizing that part. And then I'm just going to give it a name. We'll just call it Delgado Project. That's just for my own fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there we are. So I'm going to include QR codes, which is links back to. It's going to add links back to, as you can see here,
Right.
is linking to this particular file, and this is actually linking to this, whatever's in column B, right? The point of that is, right now this is a test too. I don't know how effective this is for the QR codes, but what could it hurt?
Right. It's simple and effective, right?
Might as well, right? If I could do
Yeah.
it, might as well. I'm just gonna drop it off, and then I go ahead and click the build button, and in about less than 5 minutes, it'll be ready to go.
Nice. Now, David, if somebody doesn't want to like go through this, you offer this to create it for them.
Yes, I do.
And I put in the Zoom guys, or not the Zoom, but the Facebook Live. And those that are catching the replay, you can go to my Facebook or look up Dave and reach out to him, right? Is that the best way, or do you want him going
Right.
to particular?
So I do got Zionport /map dash stacks. I'm in the process of not only building out the maps themselves, but a full entity stack all in one file swoop. So it'll be a supercharged way of doing things.
Awesome. Okay.
And we're talking with like schema and everything. So it's for everybody that's the DIYers, this is a great tool. I live and die by it daily. I've been on it
Awesome.
for the past 4 years, but then for those that's like, yeah, I give up. I'll just go ahead and pay the guy. Pay for the service, and you'll get a good deal. Yeah.
And how affordable is it?
I'm starting at $125 a month.
Okay. So these get created every month?
This will get created and powered up over the month. These campaigns, like one of the problems that I have is a lot of people, they'll buy it once and they'll see the boots, and then I don't see them for 3 months, and they'll say it worked for the first week. What went wrong? I was like, you had to keep it going, right? I was expecting you to do it because you went as far as the service took you. So having me to, but not everybody has the time to say, well, I don't have what it takes to keep this momentum going. That's why I'm going to pay this guy.
Got it. Okay.
Right. That's recommended.
Awesome. Now, guys, again, those that are catching the replay, I put David's Facebook in the in the comments there. Reach out to him. Zion Pro, you guys are seeing it. Port, I should say, .com maps dash stacks. That way you can get you guys hooked up. It seems very affordable, very effective. Let me get that URL in there as well. So Dave, any last parting words that you want to leave the family with? Anything that we didn't cover that you want to leave them with?
I don't know. I would like to hear some questions. Like if there's something that I was going too fast for,
Mhm.
and if you don't mind, Alfred, I don't mind coming back and try to address every question that they may or may
No,
have.
not at all. I don't have any. I was monitoring the Facebook Live. I don't have any on there or on here, but those that are catch the replay. And I would love to maybe have you back, to talk a little bit more
Yeah,
about the stacks, the different other stacks. So yeah, we can definitely set up a time for you to come back. Um, so I appreciate you, Dave. Thank you for these
thank you,
insights.
Alfredo.
Guys, over the shoulder, make an impact for your clients, get them some results. And you know how to reach out to Dave. He's my friend. Look up on Facebook. We'll have this on the YouTube and the GMB Pros back in.
Excellent.
And yeah, so with that said, guys, much love, much success, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep, thank you.